Hello everyone, my name is Ginger Autrey, and today I would like to take a little bit of time and talk about my family's martial arts journey, as well as the topic of how we keep our children engaged in martial arts, how we manage to fit it all into one day. Being a working mom, that can be tough. Being parents that have jobs and other responsibilities, making time to make sure my boys continue their martial arts journey on a daily basis and keep reaching for their goals. I think a lot of parents that join karate dojos and karate programs struggle with how do we keep our kids engaged? How do we keep their focus on growth? How do we keep them motivated to keep pushing themselves towards something bigger? Let me give you a little history about our family. Again, I have two boys. My oldest is Tyler. He's 15. First on black belt in the Bushiban system. My youngest is 11-year-old boy, Dawson. He is a black belt in the Bushiban system. He received his black belt in August of this past year. Both of my children started their martial arts journey at a very young age. Tyler started about 7 and Dawson started about 5 years old. So we've been doing this for quite some time. I am a green belt in the Bushiban system. I started training a couple years ago. I had to take a hiatus for an injury, but I'm back and looking forward to receiving my black belt hopefully in the coming years. Now getting back to topic. My kiddos have been on a competition team now with Bushiban for about 4 years, since 2015, where we compete on circuits all around the state of Texas, pretty much 2 out of 3 weekends a month, from January to January. My boys compete in kata divisions, weapon divisions, sometimes sparring. They've done breaking divisions. And I get asked the question a lot, how do you keep them focused? How do you keep them engaged? How do you manage time? How do you find time? And I think we as adults and as parents struggle every day trying to make sure that I know myself, being a mom, making sure everything's done from homework to family time to dojo time. And today I hope to help shed some insight into what works for our family, to maybe help you on your journey and your family and martial arts. Basically, we set aside a very large portion of our time to our children. They're only little ones, so these days are very special to me and my husband. We try to be as involved with our children's life as we possibly can, and that's normally 7 days a week, and 5 of those 7 are spent on the mats with them. And so today I'd like to share that experience with you, share a little bit about how we handle competition and why we think it's fruitful for our children, and why my boys have benefited. Specifically tournament. My oldest began competing in 2015 and absolutely fell in love with competition. It's his thing. Some kids it's sparring, some kids it's weaponry, some kids it's kata, some kids it's teaching. My oldest, it's competition. That's really where he is at home, and it has been one of the best decisions we have made for both of our children. We see them blossom as far as confidence, and that's not just on the mats. That's in all facets of their life. That's in their schoolwork and their spiritual life and their home life. We see them not fearful of reaching out of their comfort zone to try new things, to get up and speak in front of small groups. They're not held back by shyness or any of the qualities that some young people have. We have seen um, just, huge improvements in their behavior for martial arts. I mean, that was one of the first things that I, as a mom, really, really embraced, was the yes ma'am and the no ma'am, and the respect, the character traits developed by kids involved in martial arts. As I'm sure many of you already know, they cross boundaries. They're not left just for karate. We see it in the way they treat others. I have complete confidence that they will use these skills that they're learning now later in life, when it's time for them to go out and get a job, or in their relationships, and their working relationships, and it transcends beyond the mat. And the biggest thing from tournament that we've seen is the confidence building, the goal setting, because you don't always win. And sometimes those life lessons are the most important ones, because unfortunately everybody doesn't always get a trophy. And watching my boys set goals whenever their scores aren't what they want them to be, or they need to land that new trick, or getting feedback from other masters and senseis about how to better their performance and their fighting. It's incredible. I watch them do it every day. They'll come home and say, hey, today I was really weak in this facet of my kata, or I really need to work on this. And that keeps them pushing. It keeps them striving. It keeps them growing. And I think that in itself is a huge blessing. And yes, it is money, and it's investment of my time, but you only get one shot at this. So how important is it to keep your kids pushing toward something that will only help them later in life? So that's kind of our tournament side. But also, I want to talk about, how do you keep your kids motivated? What do we do in the afternoons when it's 5 o'clock and they don't want to get up and go down and train that night? And, it's important that you as a parent set an example of expectation. And I feel that's like probably our hardest thing to do, is to keep them engaged. Because sometimes things are boring. Sometimes we don't want to be there. Sometimes there's an excuse or a prior commitment. How do you keep the passion alive on the grind of the daily grind of training? And how do you keep them focused? And I mean, we really do that through goal setting. We do that through the momentum that drives the kids to keep striving for the next belt, or the next test, or the next tournament. You have to set that example. You have to show them that you're not any more sedentary than they are. That even though you've been at work all day, and you've got to get dinner on the table, and you've got things and demands of your own, that you're taking that time away for them to make sure that they are reaching their goals in and outside the dojo. And that's difficult sometimes. As parents, we get caught up in the daily things in life. But the bottom line is, there's so much to be had from martial arts, and it has changed our family completely. It has given my boys the confidence they need to try new things, to master their grades, to discipline and respect, and treating others as we would want to be treated. It transcends so many things that it was one of the best decisions we have ever made for our family. And I know will carry with them for the rest of their lives. This is something that they will use in one way or the other, whether it be in the workplace or in their own family with their own children, God willing, to become better karateka, to keep pushing and keep growing, and share the beauty of martial arts and what it can bring to them and to their future. So I hope that you all enjoyed the time we spent together today, and I answered some questions from a parental perspective about how important training is and what it can do for your family. So keep growing, keep striving, keep training. Us.